please. I want to introduce a very special guest tonight. And I dare say there's not a soul in here that doesn't have Scotch-Irish in their background. We have Dr. Michael Lee from First Baptist Church. He's going to play the pipes for us.
I didn't wear my kilt, but this will have to do. I went upstairs earlier to tune them. I've had people ask, how can you even tell? But I assure you, you can tell the difference. All I can say is, hold on to your eardrums. My name is Michael Lee. I am the pastor at First Baptist Grenada. We've lived here about 3.5 years. I'm native of Columbus, Mississippi, but our family, our branch of the Lees, has been in the South for the last 200 years or so. Well, more than that now. Our ancestor David actually came from Southern Ireland. The early part of the 1700s, migrated to North Carolina, then our family made its way down to Mississippi. We've been in Mississippi for around 200 years. Some of my three times great-grandfather was in the Army of Virginia, and his son Thomas fought for the Pike County Horse Guards here in South Mississippi, and so we of course have a vested interest in Mississippi. I have several lead pastors, Southern Baptist pastors across the state. I have people ask all the time, well, having a Baptist preacher, get to learn to play the bagpipes, and because we have a Presbyterian branch of our Lee family, and my cousin Hunter Lee, who used to be piper at Belhaven College, taught me when I was 12, and learned to play pipes from him. But as you can imagine, it runs in our blood, as I know it does in so many other people's families as well. What I'd like to do is just play a couple of different types of tunes for you. The first tune that I played is a march tune. This next tune that I'd like to play is more of a reel. It's a Scottish reel. There are differences between the Scottish and the Irish music, but only slight. In point of fact, it's very similar to one another. And piping, the Highland pipe, this instrument, technically speaking, is a Scottish instrument, but there's argument whether or not it was borrowed from Ireland or they borrowed it back, who knows. There's so much back and forth about it. But there are a lot of pipers that play the Highland pipe both in Scotland and in Ireland. You've also seen the Irish uilleann pipe, the elbow pipe, where they sit and play. Very difficult instrument to learn, extremely expensive. These things cost around $2,000, the uilleanns cost around $10,000. And so I'm cheap, and we're going this route. So let me play a little bit of a jig tune for you here, a little bit of a dance tune, and if you get up and dance, I didn't see anything. tunes are not long at all. In fact, the average pipe tune only lasts about a minute or so. But what we do is we string about 3 or 4 songs together, which makes the typical tune. So when you see a pipe band out playing, or if you hear a piper playing, 9 times out of 10, they're stringing about 2 or 3 different tunes, sometimes 4 together to make a whole set. And so, but in a room this size, I try to limit how long I play because, you know, I can't afford the lawsuits. And so, what I'd like to do, I always have people ask, there are 2 particular pieces of music everyone asks for. They always ask for Scotland the Brave, if any of you are familiar with Scotland the Brave. We'll play that tune and the High Road to Gairloch because the 2 go well together. And then I would love to play Amazing Grace for you. As many of you are aware, Amazing Grace, the tune, there's a lot of debate about where it came from. There is some solid evidence that it probably was a Scottish barroom tune. Originally had different words, but I'm not really sure what they probably originally were. But as so many other things, the Lord took that tune and put some tremendous words to it, and now we have what is considered probably the anthem of the Christian faith today. And so I'd like to play, first of all, Scotland the Brave, the High Road to Gairloch for you, 2 good Scottish tunes, and then, of course, play Amazing Grace for you as well. Last minute, I changed High Road to Gairloch to the Minstrel Boy because I had to do something Irish for you. Last tune that I'll play for you is Amazing Grace. I shared with Mr. Keith that I actually have a full program that I do on Scottish, Irish, Celtic history. One of the reasons is, it's contrary to popular opinion, everybody sort of focuses on the 1800s and the early 1900s. That sounds familiar. The 1800s and early 1900s about migration from Ireland and Scotland. What they fail to remember is that a tremendous number of Irish, Scottish, and Scots-Irish, there is a difference. Those 3 groups migrated into the South very early on in the colonial history of this country. And there was a tremendous difference between Southern Celts and Northern English. Tremendous difference. The culture was extremely different. I was talking to someone earlier tonight about the fact that there's a book out called Cracker Culture, Celtic Ways of the Old South by Brady McWhinney, who was a professor at Alabama. And he did a study that shows that the culture in the South, even though there were people from England, Germany, it was predominantly a Celtic culture. Very different than the culture from the North, which was one of the reasons for the tremendous clash. It was not just a clash over all the other stuff that revisionists love to use. It was very much a clash of cultures. And of course, as you can imagine, I'm very proud of ours. And so, we'd like to play Amazing Grace for you. And what I'd like to do, I'd like to play the one time through, and then I'll just wave my hand and invite you to sing the first verse. And I assure you, once you've sung Amazing Grace with the pipes, you will never enjoy it any other way again. So.